Upload a game. Upload a game. Upload a game. Upload a game. Get it? I went up like I was being uploaded. Anyway, let's get this tutorial started. So today I will be uploading a demo to a game I'm working on called The Haunting of the J.L. Wilson Family. The process is super easy, and I will be uploading an RPG Maker game, but hey, if you don't work with RPG Maker and you're just curious on the whole itch.io side, then do check out the timestamps and go ahead and fast forward over. Or I guess it's just jumping over. Never mind sounding like a millennial. I sound like a boomer. First things first, you're gonna want to, of course, deploy your game. Choose the right platform, and if you feel like it, you can check this off to exclude any unused files, extensions, files/folders, but I like to play it safe because I'm always a worrywart that it will exclude a mandatory file, so I'm gonna just leave that unchecked. Instead, I much prefer to just go into the folder and delete anything I don't need. Now for encryption, you can encrypt it if you like. I like to keep mine encrypted, and for my encryption key, I like to create a completely redonkulous phrase like, OMG, I can't believe you've done this to an RPG Maker horror game, no less. Wow. This way, if there really is someone trying to hack my game, you get this completely ridiculous message that they probably wouldn't even look at anyway. So while that takes its time, you could just sip on coffee, think about life. Life. Okay, and we're ready to go. So usually it gets deployed in your documents under a folder called output. And voila, we have headed on over here. And before we actually start extracting any of the files or compressing it, what we're going to want to do is, if you use Photoshop, GIMP, Sprite, and you save any of those project files in the folder, then do note that it does not get encrypted. And instead, it will give your player or whoever downloads it a free copy of that software or file. So if that's something you don't want people to have, then just head on in, manually delete all of those. Okay, so now with all that done, we are going to go back into the output to the root file, and now I'll talk about this extract first readme. Note that it is saved as a rich text document, and the reason for that is because pretty much any Windows system can open a rich text document. Unfortunately, not everyone has Word document, and while the newer systems can probably open and read it just fine, the older system running on older versions of Windows may not. So, go with a rich text. And this readme, by the way, just talks about how to play the game, aka how to get it started. So you got to extract the file. If there's a shortcut, run the shortcut. Otherwise, just play the game directly. And then if you run into this issue, which I'll explain in a second, how to get past it, the controls, for content creators, that the game is 100% allowed to be streamed and made videos of, and that they should not receive any copyright claims because all the music has been created by myself. Notes on piracy, just that if the player somehow got the game outside of Steam and itch.io, then know that they are not supporting the original creator, and that, hey, you know what, there is a chance that they can receive a virus because it's not me distributing it, it's someone else. And then socials if they want to learn more about the game or me as the developer. So for the most part, regards to this is kind of interesting because it says, oh my god, there's a potential virus, are you sure you want to run this program? Well, unfortunately, whenever you create a program, due to the firewalls, it will mark any unknown publisher as a potential concern, and the only way to fix this is to as you can guess, become an official publisher. So if you're running a company, then you may be interested in getting your game what's called certified. It will then become a trusted software, and your player will not run into this. However, do note that certifying your program does cost quite a bit of money. And unfortunately, if you are like me, who are just making a small indie game with not too much expectation to, well, make a whole lot of money, then you probably won't go that route. And you should instead just let your players know that, don't worry, there's no viruses, as long as you download it from the proper website that I distributed it to. Okay, so I'm going to exit on out of here. And if you were curious, you probably remember seeing this, and that's exactly the same thing. It's an untrusted document because it has not been published or certified by myself, and that's the reason why this shows up. Okay, coming back here to this root file, we are just going to run the game, because the neat thing about RPG Maker is that it saves the state whenever you run the game. And the one thing we do want to adjust is if you prefer your game on full screen or not, or any other settings that you want your player to have right out of the get-go. Anyway, now on to the major step. We're just going to highlight both of these, right click and go add to archive, and we're going to choose zip, because all Windows machine can uncompress and compress zip files. Now, back in the early days when Windows couldn't do that, or really when I was exploring my indie horror games, some of them came in .rar or .rar, and you needed a software to open that, and that's where WinRAR comes in. But nowadays, everyone's just using zip, so yours is probably much more simpler than having something that says add to archive. Maybe it just says compress, and if that's the case, go with that. Just remember to keep it as a .zip file. Now we also want to rename this, so I'm just going to grab all of this, copy, paste, and simplify. I'm just gonna erase the version, because once they open it and extract it, they'll see which version it is. And with this, we are finally ready to start uploading onto Itch.io. So see you guys over there. And here we are, back in our dashboard or edit game page. And we're just going to go to upload file, find that file, upload it right on over. It even has a progress bar, which is very nice. And while it does that, you can sip on your coffee, think about life a little. Maybe even edit your details. Speaking of, at the very bottom of the details, because not everyone is most inclined to click the readmes, do have your installation instructions here, just super abbreviated. And now that it is uploaded, it is a demo, so you probably want to set this as free. But if you are uploading an actual game, then you probably want to set a different price, or use this pricing method up here and change the number down here. Just know that the key term here is minimum price. Say for whatever crazy reason I decided to make my demo $1, and then I create the game and I upload it and it's $5. A player decides to pay the $5, now they get the demo and the game for free. Not very important in this context, but if it is like DLC, or if you have an additional supporter pack, then you do want to bundle everything. Alternatively, if it is truly a DLC and you expect to have multiple DLCs in the future, then you'll want to create a whole new game page just for that DLC. Alright, now that said, do check off the right software executable, so Windows of course for me, and I will keep this as 0 because in the future it will be a paid product, and just so I don't accidentally mess that up in the future, so I will keep this one as 0. Now the most unfortunate thing is that there is no schedule to upload. Once you hit save, it goes live. So once you're ready, make sure you're ready. And for the most part, I'm gonna hold it off. And to hold it off, you just click this checkbox here. So it'll be hidden from being downloaded. So save, view page, and can't be downloaded yet. But once you're ready, go back into that edit game, uncheck this box, and hit save. So there you guys have it, uploading a game onto Itch.io. Super easy process, and I do plan to do one for Steam, but I am not going to do that until the full release of the game. Unfortunately, on the Steam side, if you choose to upload a demo, you kind of have to repeat everything you did in part 1 for the demo. So it's essentially making a new page, except it's free. So you don't have to pay any money just to create a demo page. This is where a smaller site like Itch.io comes in handy because it makes the process so much more easier. So if you guys are interested, then do subscribe for when that video comes out. Otherwise, please check out the demo, or at the very least, the game page. I'd appreciate it very, very much. And if you happen to play the game, drop a comment on the game page. It helps the game tremendously. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.